Did you miss us? Of course you missed us. Some of you were like, you guys were gone? But anyway, welcome back, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast. We are back. We took a week off. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for understanding. We had a lot going on, a lot of personal stuff going on here in the base, but we are so happy to be back here doing our show for you, talking about Star Wars. We have a lot of great stuff to get into here. James and Lacey with me as always. Guys, a week off for us feels like a month because we never take time off. So that was kind of crazy. And it's good to be back, though. How you guys doing?
Yeah, I definitely I feel you're totally right. Like, I'm just like so thrown by like, how long has it been since we've podcasted? And it's like only like 14 days or something. You know, it's like crazy. Like nothing even really that wild.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It feels like a very long time. Lacey, how you been? It's been a while. You guys look good. You guys look great.
It feels even longer for me because I didn't really have anything going on. And I know that's like not me trying to brag that I had nothing going on. It's more like my life is boring. So this is like the only thing I got going for me. So when we don't do it, I literally got nothing. So I did nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
She says
with my
that,
hands.
but she's been on like 5 other podcasts and
involved.
Oh, that is true.
Schmodown
So that's
stuff.
how crazy my obsession with having something to do. I was like, can I come on your show? To like 6 people.
Studying for your Schmodown match, which is coming up, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's coming up this week. This Thursday.
What's the air date? Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
All right. So people get to see a double dose of Gillerin on Thursday.
Yes.
So good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
I have a new daughter now, so that's what's going on with me. So a lot less sleep for me. So if I get a little cranky on this episode or later on this week, just bear with me. All right, folks. But we're gonna keep it positive and fun here, as we always do. Before we get into everything, what keeps me alive and awake sometimes is coffee. And what we do here is WeirdBrothers.com paired with us to make a coffee called the Resistance Brew. So go ahead to WeirdBrothers.com, look up the Resistance Brew, and you'll be supporting us as a small podcast, them as a small business, and you because you'll get some delicious coffee. So check out Weird Brothers, and thanks to them over there. Great staff down there in Virginia. One other thing we have to announce, Lacey, this is like one of your things that you love, and you kind of came up with this idea. So I'm going to let you spill the beans, even though it's not coffee related. Go ahead. What are we doing shortly?
We are doing another virtual cantina.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
John wrote all the details down, so I'm going to let him run through that. But
okay.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so on Thursday, March 25th, we're bringing back the virtual cantina, which is kind of like our live hangout inspired by the pandemic. We're going to obviously keep that going and bring your drinks, bring what have you. We're going to have a bit of a party, and we're going to be doing signups on Thursday, the 18th. So this coming Thursday around noonish, we're going to post the link for you to sign up so that you could join us, and you'll be on the screen with us as we're hanging out on the stream. But, if you're shy and you don't want to, you can obviously go to the virtual canteen and the live chat and still hang out that way and just watch along like a lot of people did last time. So signups will be this Thursday around noon, and the event itself will be the following Thursday on the 25th. Not sure on what time, but it'll be evening Eastern time. We'll get more details out to you. We will be making the virtual cantina t-shirts available again while the cantina is happening, and a couple of other fun little merch surprises that we'll announce as we get closer. But get ready for the virtual cantina. Make sure you're available around noon on Thursday to sign up to get your slot if you want to be one of the people in the room, in the cantina on the screen. And away we go. We're going to have a good time.
Thursday's a big day. We have a new episode.
It's a big day.
Then you sign up for virtual cantina. Then you watch and cheer me on the Schmodown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Power Rangers reboot launches that day.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, I just made that up.
Oh.
Both of you guys are like, yeah?
I heard Kathleen Kennedy's being fired that day, is what I've understood.
Yeah.
If certain videos are believed to be true. No, we're going to kind of get into that right now, though, right, James? So the Resistance Report, few interesting stories. So let's get back to business.
It's the Resistance.
Yep. Resistance Report this week is kicking it off with a big one because it is a long-standing rumor, fan rumor. I don't know how to state it, but everybody has always wondered what the fate of Kathleen Kennedy will be at Lucasfilm following the rocky, possible, however you want to look at it, rollout of the Star Wars movies within the fandom. And so this week there was an earnings call or an investors call that was not public, but there were people kind of third party like relaying the information of what was going on as it was coming through. And in this particular case, it was brought up about the possible firing of Kathleen Kennedy or letting go. What's the situation with her? And Bob Chapek, who was on the call at the time, like really made it very clear that they love having her, that, you know, she will be here for a long time. She's very integral in what they're doing. And that's not even, you know, at all remotely a possibility at this point. So actually, I can read right here. It's real quick. We've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the creative talent in our company, the likes of Kathleen Kennedy. We look forward to having Kathleen directing Lucasfilm activities for years to come. So that is it. Lacey, I'm gonna jump to you first on this story. What are your thoughts on them kind of doubling down on Kathleen here?
So first of all, I got the full experience for this story. I ate pizza bagels while reading this.
Oh!
And ate Doritos, and I ate the pizza bagels too hot, so I burned the roof of my mouth. So I got the true experience of the person that probably asked this question.
Did your mom make them for you and bring them downstairs to you?
Sharon was not at my house. However, I guess I didn't get the full experience. It was about maybe 45% the experience.
Okay.
But yeah.
Last question. Were you gaming at the time?
I was not. I was just on my couch reading on my phone.
All right.
But I did laugh a lot because this is ridiculous. First of all, someone that bought shares of Disney, which first of all, congratulations on that. You're going to use your time on a shareholder meeting to ask basically a YouTuber question to the head of Disney. Like, there's nothing else you could have asked. And then the way it was phrased was just very sloppy. I was like, come on, guy. It's clear that you want her fired, and you phrased it in a way that, like, he wanted to get him to say, yes, that's happening. Yeah. I felt a lot of embarrassment for this person. Only because I was like, this person is clearly, like, got some type of agenda that they're trying to push right now. And I'm sure that's going to affect how they take questions in the future, I guarantee. That being said, I'm super happy that Bob number 2, second Bob, not Iger, right, responded to this guy in a way that was very straightforward and very positive and very like, look, we're perfectly happy with her. She's going to be here for a long time, which makes me think like we had heard rumblings last year that she might be transitioning out like on her own. Like, hey, I've had enough. I'm going to go on a beach somewhere and just enjoy my retirement. But this sounds like she's sticking around, which good for her if that's what her choice is. I don't think, and I think people need to let this go, she's never going to get fired. If she leaves, it's going to be on her own. And at this point, she's not. So it's just crazy. By the way, the top of my mouth really does hurt from the pizza bagel.
The roof of your mouth?
Yeah.
That's scary
That's
stuff
worse
sometimes.
than what this guy thought, probably getting this answer.
Yeah. What are the ones that are the pockets?
Hot pockets?
No, the little ones.
Pizza rolls?
And
Pizza rolls?
Those are the real dangerous ones because then it turns into this little boiling den of hell, and then you think it's good and you bite it and the juice like a gusher squirts in your mouth and it's like lava.
Or you don't heat it up enough and the outside's really hot and then you bite into it and the inside's like an ice cube, a meat cube.
Awful.
Cheese cube, sauce cube.
It's funny. I only recently found out that pizza rolls is like there's only one pizza roll. I thought it was
Tostitos, right?
Yeah, They own that branding. I did not know that.
Or is it Tortinos? Something something.
Totinos.
I think it's Tolingos.
No. But no, I thought it was just a type of food. like, I don't know, like spaghetti. Like nobody owns spaghetti. That's just the type of food that it is, or macaroni and cheese or something like that. That's a pizza roll or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something, but it's not. Yeah. Pizza roll is like a trademark thing. Only they make them.
Until now, James, I have an exclusive reveal. Resistance broadcast. We are creating TRB, the Resistance Bites, and they'll be coming out to grocery
if we really
stores.
did do that, that would be epic. Although I get the store brand Craven kind from Big Y and like pizza bagels and stuff, so they have pizza rolls too. But if we did that, that would be the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like I could just be like, well, I've done everything I could do. That is the peak of things.
And we'd make them like Michael Scott, like we'd always make them the cheapest so people would buy them. So then the guys who make the calls to the investors' calls would have to eat our pizza bites, the Resistance Bites, while they're making the phone call. So like, hey, Bob, yeah. Yeah, so that'd be it.
I assume John's slightly avoiding this topic because he doesn't want to talk about this story. What do you think, John?
Oh, no, yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, it's one thing to speculate and think like, man, I could see if, using logic. I mean, like Kathleen Kennedy's contract's up at the end of this year. Disney's going through a lot of financial stuff. Maybe they're looking to shake things up. We've heard rumblings about them making management, operational changes, and that sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff going on with the parks. Parks heavy guy is now the CEO. There's a lot of stuff going on with Disney. And so it's one thing to do that and say,
a parks guy, by the way, that's not afraid to make cuts because he changed what Galaxy's Edge was going to be. He cut a lot of stuff from that.
Yeah, so it's one thing to soundly and respectfully speculate on that and say like, maybe they're going to make a change. And if they do, it's not, you're fired. It's we're parting ways. And, Kathleen wants to explore other adventures. She's been doing this for 10 years, that sort of thing. So it's not a surprise that she's sticking around. They have all these projects going on. They just, had her out as the face of the Lucasfilm presentation and that big, huge webcast in December. If they were looking to move on from her, like we saw with the Gina Carano thing, they wouldn't have had Kathleen Kennedy out there saying, here's the next 3 years of Star Wars or whatever. So it should come as no surprise to anybody with sound mind and brain. But I'll say this. Her contract is still up at the end of this year. It's possible she may just
July.
be like...
Is that wrong?
I thought it was end of the year.
Oh, in the article they were like, I think it might be midsummer or something like that.
It still wouldn't surprise me necessarily if she was like, I don't want to renew my contract. So that's still a possibility. She can make that decision if she wants to, but it sounds like something is really not changing here in terms of what Kathleen Kennedy's doing at Lucasfilm. And
Summer.
For me,
2021.
Oh, it is summer. Okay, so another 4 months or so.
But she might see it through to the end of Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and then we'd probably be expecting some sort of extension reveal or that sort of thing. And if we don't hear anything, then you got to ask questions. But I've been happy with it. What they've been putting out, obviously. Like I'm a huge fan of all the movies and the live action stuff, and even the last season of Clone Wars I thought was good. So I'm happy. I know some people aren't, and that's fine. But she's the top number 2 movie producer of all time. If you put Kevin Feige aside with the Marvel run, she's number 1. Yeah. So I'm glad they reaffirmed it.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up too, is like, it's kind of one of those things, like if, you like maybe don't like her movies or whatever, but from a business standpoint, you do have the number 1 money-making producer of all time under Kevin Feige. And that was only recently, that he came up. I think that was like 2016 or something like that he finally like surpassed her or whatever. And that's really because of the Marvel stuff. So Marvel aside, she's still number 1. She has the broadest range.
And I wonder if inflation was a factor, she would be number 1. Because all those movies she produced throughout the 80s and stuff like that, if you had to pump in the 2020 Marvel, the equivalent of Marvel's dollar value, I wonder what the numbers would look like. I'll just believe that. Because she's been doing this for 40 years.
And the other thing that I think is interesting too is like we were talking, is that her contract's coming up here at the end, but who's to say that even if you were very confident that they were going to move forward, sometimes they just don't follow the rules. And that being like the old Disney CEO Bob Iger was supposed to leave at a certain specific amount of time, and then out of nowhere they just switched it. And then there was still like, well, we're kind of breaking the rules. He's the new one, but I'm still here, and going through this other process and stuff. And we all kind of were led to believe that is, and probably was, because of COVID and all this other stuff that was going on. But at the end of the day, like, sometimes they might, extend her contract, and then she gives it to somebody else for a while or something like, you know what I mean? There's all these weird things that it's not always going to be this like cut and dry, like, oh, she re-upped. It's definitely happening. You know, she could re-up for 4 years and only stick around for 2. Who knows? But I think the only reason that this question was even brought up was because as we're nearing the end of it, you know, maybe to get a definitive answer. Well, here's your definitive answer. So that really is about as much as you can go as far as the public is concerned. And then if you really want her gone, maybe one day you'll hear it, but doubtful at this point.
I think the important right, and I think the important thing about this conversation that no one seemed to take away from it, I think this overshadowed what I felt was the bigger news, which was they're making 100 new series a year for the next 3 years.
I noticed.
Yeah.
John noticed. No one else did.
Well,
but I mean, that's a big deal. 100 series. I mean, Netflix is saying that they're going to make one new thing a week. That's
guys,
50.
I have a great idea.
Oh, really? Go ahead. We have audio listeners, so you're going to have to.
No, I was going to wait until I was zoomed in all the way.
Oh.
Make Solo 2 happen, you fools.
I mean, if you think about it realistically, 100 shows with however many properties that they have, you have to assume they're putting a big chunk of that into Star Wars, whether it be animation or live action, because their most popular show right now is Mandalorian and WandaVision. So you have to assume that those two things, they're going to be like, yes, out of 100, we'll make 25 Star Wars shows. You know, it's like
over the course of the next year.
No,
that's what it said initially, right? That's why I didn't take away from it.
Oh,
no. They're setting
a year.
No, they're setting a goal of 100 new series per year. It doesn't mean in this next year they're gonna have 100 shows out.
True. Okay, but I still take that as 100 series a year.
Across all genres, and they're connected to other platforms and
yes,
right. So I'm saying they're probably going to dedicate a chunk of that to Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still thinking because I think if you're looking at more than 3 or maybe 4, then well, I guess that's live action. But the thing is like, I think that we're underselling how much content Disney has, and you're looking at like the Phineas and Ferb show.
Yeah, but also don't forget how many of these Star Wars shows that are coming that they announced, this 7 live action, 3 animated, are also, most of them are limited series. So they're going to be done once they air, and a lot of them are coming in the next 2 years. So there's definitely more Star Wars series coming without a doubt, and this thing only just this staggering number just only adds fuel to we're going to get a lot more Star Wars series, and they seem to really be focusing on the direct to consumer thing.
And you heard they were talking to Alden.
Yeah, so we had heard that they are reaching out to contact him again, and I've heard the term Phase 2 thrown out there for Star Wars.
Like this Star Wars, like, so Kevin, how should we do this? And he's like,
I know. Yeah, I know. It so like I think this first run of Star Wars shows is going to be what they are, and it looks like most of them, except Rangers of the New Republic, Mandalorian, and Andor, are all limited or special events. So Kenobi, Ahsoka, Lando,
Boba Fett,
Acolyte, and Boba Fett are all, I believe, one and done or limited series or special events, however they want to label them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that Acolyte was. I thought that would be reoccurring. Is it not?
I thought so. I'm not positive.
Yeah, this is off the cuff. It's not that we haven't talked about it before, but
right. So I mean, to me, that just is a sign that there's probably more Star Wars coming. We all probably expected that, but Star Wars is certainly going to get a piece of the pie.
I just thought of their major brands. Like when you open up Disney Plus, it says like Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, National Geographic, and then I guess just like Disney as a whole.
Yeah, just Disney, yeah.
And I was like, if you split that up, that's like 20 per category. And I was like, they're not going to make 20 Star Wars shows a year. So somewhere, and the same for, they're not going to make 20 Marvel a year. They're not going to make
or
20
National
Pixar shows. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So somewhere along the lines, I think these need to be distributed differently. And I feel like it's probably not as many as you might think if you split it up like that. It's probably still in the line of like 3 or 4 Star Wars shows, 3 or 4 Marvel shows, 3 or 4 Pixar shows that are new. That's not been announced, but that might be something they do. Or maybe they have been. I don't know. But
I'm sure they're going to do a lot more behind the scenes stuff. But then,
the mass majority is like Disney stuff, just like Disney Channel, Disney content, Wizards of Waverly Place type stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's going to be the large majority of it. So when we hear the number, you immediately start thinking like 20 Star Wars shows like that. Don't go crazy. That's why I didn't take away too much from it. I was like, this is kind of something we kind of already knew. But
James, that's the world I want to live in.
Relate. It is the world I want to live in. Absolutely. I mean, we kind of got it when they stood up there and they were like 10 Marvel, 10 Star Wars, and there was 10 other one. What the other one was? Was it 10 National Geographic? I think.
Oh, I don't know.
New series.
I stopped watching after Star Wars.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap up that story. Kathleen Kennedy, here to stay. All right. John, I'm going to let you talk about this next one here because you're probably the most familiar with this individual, having been in Game of Thrones. But we're getting a report from Deadline, I believe, that Indira Varma will be joining the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And I wanted to hear what you thought. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, she was in Game of Thrones. She acted alongside Pedro Pascal in that show. She's mostly known for TV work. She has been in films and has done a lot of work. But she did a great job as a character piece on Game of Thrones. And it's just one of those casting things where you feel like someone catches someone's eye in a certain show, and we've made the comparisons of Mandalorian and the other live action Star Wars stuff coming up to the scale of Game of Thrones, and sometimes those types of things feed similar names and that sort of thing. And it's very possible that Pedro Pascal had an in for her. Maybe they stayed friends through their time on Game of Thrones, and he got her in the door to get involved in one of these projects. And it was like, hey, I don't think there's a fit for my show, but I'll put your name in with Deb, who directed us in The Mandalorian, who's actually going to be doing the Kenobi show next year. Yeah, get me in there. Who knows how that stuff works. But a lot of times in any industry, no matter what you're doing, whether you're in a normal 9-to-5 corporate job or you're an actor trying to get onto a Disney show, who you know helps. And I don't doubt that her having maybe worked with Pedro Pascal, maybe having similar
Didn't she
people
play his wife?
In context. I don't remember if she was his wife, but
in the article it said that she played his wife. That's why I was like,
that's
wow.
What it was, yeah. He had an early exit on the show. We'll just leave it at that for anybody who still wants to watch Game of Thrones. But yeah, so
just dropping the spoiler and going on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, keep your eyes open for that's a joke for the Game of Thrones fans. Will pick up on that one. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those things maybe. If not, it's just coincidence, but I would say it makes a lot of sense. And again, the other funny thing is that people immediately, and I know James, you hate this, people immediately go to well, she must be somebody that we know. So people are like, oh, she's playing Satine.
Mom.
She's Satine. Yeah, she's playing Satine, who I don't know that would work there, but she must be playing, maybe she's playing this person, maybe she's playing Asajj Ventress, or they go through all these names and stuff, and I also I'm on James's side on those types of things. Usually I think it's just somebody that we don't know yet. and we're gonna meet on this show, and she's gonna help tell Obi-Wan's story now in that time period he is, but sandwiched right in the heart of the middle between episodes 3 and 4. So yeah, I mean, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I like most everybody who was on that show. So I haven't seen a ton of her work, but I really did like the job she did on that show. And I think she'll do a great job doing this as well. Seasoned actor, professional, no sordid history, I guess. So I think it'll be a good time.
John, there was actually 2 things that I didn't like about this story, and the other one was Darby writing in here. He played this character on Game of Thrones, who was played by Pedro Pascal. He stars in a little Star Wars show fans might have heard of. And I was like, oh no, Darby, don't go there. All right.
And also, Lacey did something that you don't like either on her unboxing video, which go watch if you guys haven't yet. Lacey has a new unboxing video, Lacey's Outpost on her YouTube channel. Lacey she holds up, I think it was a Boba Fett figure, and she goes, "The man, the myth, the legend."
I said that about Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah. It's when you don't have adjectives to, and I'm not saying this is against you, Lacey, because Luke is the man, the myth, the legend. But people would do that for casual people. Like if you're a guest on a podcast or something, and someone says the man, the myth, the legend, that means they don't have anything good enough in real life of adjectives to say about you.
I was poking fun at the fact that that's what everybody always says. That's why I said
okay. Yeah.
That's why I laughed after I said it.
It is one of those, it's one of those staples that we banned from the podcast.
Like, who doesn't know Luke Skywalker? Puns. That was my joke.
Yeah.
Especially when Rey goes, "I thought he was a myth." in Force Awakens.
Yeah, and I have the book Legends of Luke Skywalker.
Imagine if Rey goes, "I thought he was a myth, the man, the legend."
I hate it.
The myth, the myth. or she says it like right before he turns around at Jedi steps. All right, Lacey, do you have any thoughts on this casting in particular?
I'm gonna be honest, I really don't. I think she's beautiful. She's gonna do a beautiful job in the show, and I'm just pumped to hear updates that it's still happening and production is moving along.
She's a very charismatic actress. I think she'll charm people, and I think people will really endear themselves to her. Unless she's playing an awful villain, but who knows.
Oh yeah, I went looking. I did like the YouTube thing. You put her in, you say like best scenes or something like that. And honestly, I couldn't really pull up a whole lot. So I was like, I'm not really sure, if that's just because like the shows that she has are like copywritten. They pull them from, you know what I mean? Like if she's Game of Thrones or something like that, I could see HBO being like, no, don't put that on. So I really tried to find some stuff with her, and I couldn't really find anything too much. This picture, though, I will say, on StarWarsNewsNet.com's article, reminds me of Holdo. You guys see that? I don't know if you're looking at the photo. Well, shorter, like cut triangular. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe the outfit too. I don't know. I get a Holdo vibe. So then I start thinking she might be more like military, as opposed to like what everybody seems to be thinking, like love interest or force-ish on that side. I don't know. I think maybe she might be more on this side. Anyway, I don't know.
I kind of feel like Kenobi's not going to have a love
based
interest
on nothing.
in his limited. Yeah, in his limited series, he's not going to have a love interest unless he has flashbacks to a previous love. Like I can't see him having a love interest at this time. Like his whole life has been ruined.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Not that he can't find love. I feel like someone immediately is going to be like, what does that mean you can't find love? No, it's just not in his priorities right now. Just like John Boyega said, Finn's priority wasn't love, it was war in The Rise of Skywalker. So
all out war.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing with Kenobi.
She's my girl.
Yep. All right. Last major story here.
At the episode 9 panel, that's what he said.
John's been holding babies and not talking to anybody for 2 weeks, so he's got to get everything out right now.
Yeah. Last but not least on our, major stories here, before we just get into like, the other little tidbits to pick up, DK Books and also Del Rey, both in the same day, made an official announcements that the Mandalorian original novel and the Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide are both canned, totally done, not happening, canceled. Now, it has nothing to do with the authors. Obviously, I think Pablo Hidalgo was involved with one of them, and then the other one,
Adam Christopher.
Yes, they said, we're working on things with Adam Christopher in the future. It's nothing against him. They made that very clear. But it's up to speculation at this point why both of these things got stalled permanently, and why on the same day did this announcement come. Lacey, do you have any thoughts on, these not happening?
Yeah. First of all, I'm very disappointed because I was looking forward to the visual guide. I'm a big visual guide art of book person. And I was really looking forward to Adam Christopher's book too, because we've interacted with him on Twitter. He's always been super nice, super supportive of the podcast and other people in the community. So I was really looking forward to his take on The Mandalorian as this original story. It's just, it just kind of sucks. This is another instance. I said this about Cara Dune. I'm saying it now about these two books too, is like, at the end of the day, the people that get hurt the most are the fans, because you don't get the content. You don't get the book that's been written at this point. Probably it's sitting on a shelf somewhere. The two messages came out about the same time, and they have the exact same wording about two separate books, two separate authors, and two separate companies. So to me, it reads Disney Lucasfilm put this memo out from their PR stance. My guess would be that the story that they had in mind is changing due to Cara Dune stuff. Also, I think it could be a budget thing with everything that's going on with Disney. They're reallocating money. They're moving stuff to streaming. They're cutting projects. They stopped all construction at Disney World and Disneyland. I could see this also being a budgetary thing where they're like, look, we have to cut some projects. These projects, we can make them in the future once Mandalorian's wrapped up. Let's cut it now. That's what I think. It just sucks because I was really looking forward to them.
John, do you have any thoughts that differ from Lacey, or do you want to double down on what she said?
A little bit. No, I agree with what Lacey says in terms of the language for sure. Like, Val had pointed that out to me, and I when it comes to these PR statements, my eyes glass over because I just get bored and I almost pass out.
I just know because I've put out statements like that before.
Yeah, this is a fill in the blank. Like, literally the only difference in these messages is the title of the product. Everything else is literally the exact same word. Mm-hmm. And Val had pointed that out to me, and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that.
That's why with Comic-Cons and stuff, it's always there were scheduling conflicts. That's why this person can't come anymore. It's usually not scheduling conflicts. It's like something crazy else.
Yeah. And Adam Christopher's book was already delayed once. It was supposed to already come out this past December. And, a lot of us felt like that was maybe based on a creative thing, and they didn't want to pigeonhole part of the story by locking it in with a canon book or something like that. I don't think this has anything to do with Gina Carano at all. I know people are going to wave the banner for her and say, this is for Gina, and look at what's happening to the Mandalorian now, and they're going to twist it in this all wrong sort of way. I don't think that's the case. And then in terms of the publishing element of it, all the costs that went into making this book, especially the one that's probably done, which is the visual guide, because you have to figure, I was in publishing production for a long time, and in order for this to be on shelves in July, this book not only has to be pretty much at the end stages, it has to be sent off to a printer within the next month or two. So all the costs that went into making that book already happened. They need to recoup those costs by putting this out. Now, I think eventually this will come out, and it'll maybe be restructured into the entire series of The Mandalorian. And maybe they don't want to do it as, here's part one, and then we're going to do another one, and then another one. Maybe they're just saying, we're going to do the whole series. Here's your set. It's, this nice little package or whatever. As far as the novel, that I'm not sure. That could be mainly a strictly creative thing. It could even have been a Favreau thing. Like, look, I don't feel comfortable. We are maybe looking to do something else in season 4. And if this book comes out, it really hinders what we have to do.
Sure.
Do the dollars make sense for you to put a stamp on story on this book that may not make the money that our show can make? That sort of thing. So I think it's two different things. I think with the visual thing, maybe they're just pressing the brakes a little bit on that. But all the money has gone into producing that already. Pablo probably already got his payment in beers or whatever he earns, wherever he takes his currency.
Transformers.
Or Transformers, yeah. And then the other one, he just gets sideshow Transformers as his payments, and then he paints them at home like Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
But
I'm making
the other
your
one,
pants blue.
right? Right. And then the other one, Adam Christopher, he is a great guy, and he, hopefully he does get a chance to either do something with this or something else. But yeah, I think that's the story with those things. And yeah, it is a bit of a bummer, but we got to give credit to Ben Sfoldy at Zero.hu who broke that story that the visual guide was being canceled, and we had reached out for confirmation to DK in the US, and they said we have no idea as far as we know what's happening. So someone in UK knew and US didn't. So that's interesting that the two different departments of that company, UK and US, weren't on the same page in terms of the cancellation. Interesting, to say the least. And sometimes with these types of companies, there's communication issues, especially this day and age more than ever. There's communication problems with a lot of companies, and that drives me nuts as a person who's very communication driven. But
what are you talking about?
Shut up. But yeah, long story short, it is certainly a bummer because those visual guides are nice, fun nuggets to dive into, and I'm sure Adam Christopher's book would have only enriched the story of the Mandalorian more. And like we said, maybe we see more from him down the line. And I do think we're going to get a full Mandalorian series visual guide one day.
So maybe I'm the crazy one, but I do think this is Gina Carano. And I don't know.
You're not the crazy one. I said it could play into it. I agree.
I think it's entirely the reason, because when you're talking about, budgetary things and stuff like that, I go, this doesn't happen very often that they just decide to cancel books altogether and pull it. I mean, I don't know in the other world, but when you're talking about Star Wars books, it's very rare that they've said this book, which is basically already written, is just not happening anymore. So this feels very odd that two things that would have her likeness associated with it, and the potential of somebody being like, of having a PR nightmare of, every time this book sells, she's still making money on this or something along those lines.
I mean, the story from Adam Christopher could have had Cara Dune in it.
I mean, I can't imagine.
I don't think she as an actor would make royalties on a book like that. I don't think that's how their contracts are made.
It might, but I know that immediately after all that stuff happened, Hasbro pulled all the toys. And I think it could be something along those lines in the same regards of like...
Literally all the toys. They canceled production stuff. They pulled them from the shelves in stores. Yeah.
We're still making decisions on how we want to handle this stuff. But for the most part, if we're putting something out there that has this character in it, it could potentially cause problems. And this book and this guide is littered with it. So, I mean,
there's probably a page
I could
dedicated
be wrong.
to her, maybe two.
Which you can easily sap out in that type of book. Without,
but then people would be like, why is she missing from the book?
Exactly. And it'd be better to just say, we've decided that we're not moving forward with it, and that be it, and just leave it to a blank statement and let people speculate. But the real reason would probably be this. And I'm saying, look, I think we're all adults, but obviously, like, hey, give us this, nobody's going to care, but people are probably going to care, and they're probably going to.
At the top of the show, we did talk about a gentleman that called into a stakeholders meeting to ask a YouTube question. So
he was no gentleman.
I don't know. I mean, look, John, you obviously know publishing very well, and so you might understand this world a little bit better when you see these types of cancellations or announcements made. But from my perspective, I sit here and I go, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't seem normal. And the only thing here that rings true to me is you probably had a book with this character involved, and you definitely had that character and pages dedicated to this character in this other thing. And they both like snap happens like that. It even means the miscommunication thing, like maybe one publishing company or whatever they're doing over there is like, no, absolutely, this is happening. And the other one's like, hold on, or something along those lines. And then eventually somebody had to make the decision. And when they did, the hammer fell down. So
also,
I don't know.
I've seen companies deny things and say, "Oh no, definitely not," and they've known that said thing was happening, and they've just denied it because they can just claim that they didn't know. Going off your DK denial, saying, "Oh no, absolutely, it's still happening." Like,
we've definitely seen.
Companies
definitely seen.
Yes, they definitely deny when they either. It could be, a coordinator answering emails, and they're like, just tell them you don't know, and that, like, I've even written emails before like that, like, oh, I don't know, but So I feel like James does have a little truth to his statement of, like, maybe they just didn't know, or maybe one knew and one didn't. I think they both knew, but they were waiting from Lucasfilm and Disney to get the final word.
When
maybe
was so the 0.HU report came out on February 12th. Do we know how that lines up with Gina Carano and that situation?
I mean, it was around that time because we did a live show on February 11th. Pretty sure was our first live show, which I believe was the Gina show.
She was let go, officially on February 10th.
10th. Sorry.
So she was let go. 2 days later, a report comes out that says exclusive, The Mandalorian Ultimate Visual Guide will not be published.
That's a quick move.
Just saying.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
It's a quick move, but also
the email
in the
out
short days
internally.
right after was when we heard the Hasbro stuff too.
If I'm running Disney Lucasfilm books and my partnership with DK or whatever, I'm not putting out this book because of Cara Dune, and I'm removing her from the visual guide and moving forward with my book.
You are if Disney says you're not putting that book out.
No, but I'm saying Disney, who all the costs already went into making the book, are outdone, and now you're going to make $0 on return
because the PR is not worth the amount that they spent on that book.
That's screw that.
I'm sorry. I was speculating on the sheet.
Don't get mad at me,
she's going to
John.
get royalties or something like that. But I definitely know that streaming services and things like Pool, like for instance,
PR move though, like these guys. I'm canceling my Disney Plus subscription now. And then Bob Chapek comes out. We're about to hit 100 million subscribers on Disney Plus. We're higher than ever.
So you're looking at it from the wrong side. I'm saying the side of the people that are angry at her will be angry that she's included in this book. And by having her in this
That's why I'm saying rip her out of it.
Her.
No, I'm saying take her out of the book. That's what I said. Take her out.
I don't know. I didn't write the book.
I mean,
I didn't publish the book. I'm just telling you that this reads
page 37, the Cara Dune page. Zut! Goodbye!
Yeah. I mean, it could... We don't know how the visual dictionary was distributed either. Like, it may be that she had her page, but it also could have been like, here's the gang again, like in the next page, and she's just littered throughout the book. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. So I don't know. It's just a guess on my part.
John needs some pizza bagels. He's getting a little too feisty today.
You want some Tostinos?
Pizza rolls?
Somebody's going to be so mad that we're messing up the brand name of that. They're going to be
Resistance Bites.
I think it is Tostinos.
Okay.
I think it's Totinos. Totinos.
We do have the internet. We could Google it.
No, we don't. No internet. All right, guys. I want to run through a couple quick things because we're up on time here. But Benedict Cumberbatch did an interview with Collider, and they asked him about the possibility, kind of the fan theory of him playing Grand Admiral Thrawn. He was immediately like, who? What?
Totinos.
What? That's what I said. Totinos.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then he was asked the character, he's blue, and Benedict Cumberbatch was just like, nope, absolutely not. I'm
he's
not
like,
doing
I've done
that.
Strange, I'm out.
I value my time with my family, and I've got better things to do than the before and after of getting turned blue. So put to bed
Did you see
any more rumors of Benedict Cumberbatch.
I wonder if they were like, how
Thrawn.
about for $1 million? He's like, get the paint. Get the paint.
I mean, who knows? It could be crazy marketing where he's like,
Twitter?
No, absolutely not. I don't even know who that is. And then when he shows up, it's like, oh my God.
Don't you Disney Plus me.
Dude, there's precedent there. There's precedent there. Justin Bolger did a great quote tweet, and he put in quotes, "I'm not playing Khan."
Oh, yeah.
And that was Cumberbatch saying he wasn't playing Khan in Star Trek, and sure enough, he was playing Khan. So
well done, Justin.
That was a
like
great
He has some
tweet.
solid tweets.
He should do social media for a popular franchise, in my
He
opinion.
should.
Yeah.
Maybe Star Wars.
Yeah, that'd be hey.
Another thing, the Titan Publishing, who's involved with Star Wars Insider, they're the company that puts them together. They're doing a special edition magazine that is the Star Wars Age of Resistance. And there was an excerpt that came out. If you guys want to check it out, they put the PDFs and you can read what it all says and stuff. But just kind of a highlight, a shine on that particular character. And as you know, through the rest of this magazine, you've probably seen them. They usually come out before movies, like everything you need to know about the new Star Wars. Boom, collector's edition. Here it is. It's very similar to that. Always a cool item for people to pick up and kind of leaf through. Even though if you read the excerpt, you're like, but people, if you listen to this podcast, you already know all this stuff. So it's like, okay, but I think it could be kind of something to actually kind of own. And usually these are pretty thick and they have a lot of really beautiful pictures, and it's pretty cool to check it out. The last thing I wanted to mention, though, is that Jon Favreau was officially nominated by the Directors Guild of America for The Mandalorian Chapter 9, The Marshal. The Mandalorian has been putting out a lot of tweets recently that says like, oh, thanks to these people, they nominated us, for this, like editing or visual effects. And there's a lot of those things coming out. But it was really cool to see Jon Favreau specifically nominated by such a prestigious group in the Guild of America, Directors Guild of America, I should say, which is all of his colleagues. He only did the one episode this season, but in my opinion, the best episode, very cinematic, very well pulled off. And of all the episodes, if I was going to nominate a single director for that season, Jon Favreau would be my nomination as well. And it looks like all of his colleagues fell into that too. So good on him. Good luck. And I saw the other nominees. I don't know any of those shows.
The King. He is the King.
The King.
He's up against Jason Bateman, I think, for Ozark.
Ozark. You know what's? Can I say something about Ozark real quick? I know
sure. I've never seen it, but sure.
Get ready for John's snark.
Nice. I watched that show, and then when it comes back around, I have forgotten literally everything about that show. It does not stick. I enjoy it. I hope he loses, and I hope Favreau takes home the gold. I like Bateman too. I'm a Bateman guy. I am.
I actually am not a Bateman guy. I do not like Jason Bateman. Just to throw that out there.
All right.
Fun facts of the day.
Yeah. That's it though. Resistance Report out. Lacey, what do we got next? What's up for Resistance Broadcast?
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So as you guys know, there's lots of ways you can support us because we're back. You can like this video, comment, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN, follow us on Instagram, which we're growing there, so thank you so much, at The Resistance Broadcast, or any popular podcast app, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you want more than that, you can head over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast. Starting at $2 a month, you get extra content every week, new videos from us. You can go up in ranks and get mailings, Discord access, and much more. This is the segment of the show that we let the generals take part. So first, I want to say thank you to our generals. Thank you, Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, Neil Shaw, David Probus, John Reese, Micah Harrison, Jetta Rosewater, Michael Gaines, Beerfet Bethany, Russ Harbison, Kendall Gelnar, Paul Olson, Jake Houchins, Jeff Connery, Oliver Lewis, Dave Hornack, Frank Grande, and Val Trichkoff. I made it almost all the way through. I don't know if you go by Jeffrey, Jeff, but I almost went there. Jeffrey. All right. This week, we have a rotation slot with a new general, which is Jake Houchins. And we asked Jake. We asked him, if you were playing Lando Calrissian and Sabaac, knowing he cheats, would you cheat to even the playing field? Rat him out to everyone. How would you approach the game? So he gets some time now to give us an answer. So Jake, take it away.
Hey, TRB. If I found myself in a game of sabaac with a cheating Lando Calrissian, I would imagine that it would be the young Donald Glover one, and I would use my charisma to become friends with him. I'd build a nice, long-lasting relationship because he actually seems like a pretty cool guy. Then once we've kind of both grown older and he's kind of in that Billy D age then, I'd try to exact my revenge then. Maybe it was something as simple as maybe a good prank, or even something like, swindling him out of his ship, or some credits then. I'm not really good at poker or anything like that, so I'd have to kind of play the long game. May the force be with you all, and I'm glad to be part of the pod race.
Nicely done, Jake. Excellent answer. Why are you laughing?
His answer is so funny.
Go ahead, John. Why is it so funny?
Because it's just like, he's like, I'm picturing the young, charismatic Lando, and I would just want to be good friends with him, and then just wait a really long time, and then maybe play a prank on him.
The long game.
Yeah, play the long game, and then put a whoopee cushion under his seat, and be like, that got him. No, I thought it was clever. I thought it was funny. I do like the long game element because that's kind of like how Han and Lando are. They've always been kind of going back and forth, trading jabs at each other. So I dig that. And first pod race, right, for Jake, I believe. So
it is. Well done.
Yeah, well done for sure. Great job. Knocked it out of the park. Can't wait for you to do another one. And welcome to the show. You made it on TRB, my man. So thanks for your support, Jake. You're the man. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, James.
No, I was like, man, do we trust Jake? He's like, he has a lot of confidence that he's like, if I sat down at a table, me and the biggest swindler and the coolest cat in the room, we just become best friends. We just start hanging out, and and he's like, then we'd become best friends like throughout these years, and I'd play the long game with him, and I'm like, if I sat down at a table and I saw, Tom Cruise, I wouldn't immediately be like, oh, I'm just going to be best friends with Tom Cruise. So I was like, good on you, Jake. I hope that you do become best friends with Lando and eventually he falls for you and trusts you enough that you'll be able to swindle him back. That'd be good.
Jake, excellent job on your first pod race. This actually makes me think of something not Star Wars, which was Raya and the Last Dragon. At the end, towards the end of the movie, they have to.
Whoa, hold up.
What?
You doing spoilers for that movie that's not out yet?
That's technically on Premiere. You have to pay to get it access.
Well, there is an instance where a joke is made about someone being best friends with someone. And that's what made me think of it. So that's what I was going to say. Thanks, Jake. Now we're going to go to the man, the myth, the legend. John. Go ahead, John.
Raya and the last spoiler.
I didn't spoil anything. But it is very good.
This new movie that basically no one's seen because you have to pay for it. Anyway, at the end, this happens. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I've been wondering, what are midi-chlorians?
All right, Ask the Resistance. We're back with it. Here we are. First question's coming in now from Matthew Gilbert at Gilbolicious. Makes me want some Bubblicious, if I may be honest. Lacey, Matthew has this question that we're going to pitch to you. Which Star Wars movie has the best intro? He says episode 4, which is the Tantive being chased down by the Star Destroyer. So what do you think?
Hey, Matthew. Nice to meet you virtually. Great question. I have to agree with you. Episode 4, A New Hope, has the best intro because it's the one that everybody falls in love with Star Wars with. Like that scene of the ship chasing another ship, and then, Darth Vader boards, and the stakes are really high, and you realize, like, what have I just walked into, this war? What's going on? There's droids and stuff. It's just the best one. And nothing competes with that. All the other ones seem kind of boring, actually, after this one.
Nice. Right on. I mean, it is iconic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, though, is the correct answer.
So Revenge of the Sith, I thought about that one because of the whole war scenario, but I don't know.
The drums, boom, boom.
It is cool, but I think intro-wise into the story, the one that catches my attention more, because I tend to zone out in that intro because you're like, okay, they're fighting. I get it. There's a lot of droids and they're fighting. This one, it's like you have to pay attention. There's lines, there's new characters. He's choking people. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? So
I'm glad I didn't bet, because if I was a betting man, I thought you were going to pick Rise of Skywalker with Kylo Ren just absolutely murdering people.
I thought of that one as well. I'm glad you guys both came up with the ones that I thought of. The reason I didn't say that one is because it didn't go anywhere after that.
Oh yeah,
interesting. That's yeah. Iconic pick, episode 4. So you and Matthew on the same page.
Yep.
I may lean on that too. All right, James. Alex Zukas at Zubaka asked, "Will we see remnants of the First Order in stories after the Rise of Skywalker?" Kind of like, I guess, what we're seeing with the remnants of the Empire. Is probably what he's looking at.
Totally. Yeah, good question, Alex. I think that what you're going to look at is absolutely stories that continue to say, hey, we're here now. This is what it was. But, don't forget that, everything completely changed when the First Order showed up, and that can happen again. I think that post the sequel trilogy, all the stories won't reflect, I know it's kind of hard to say, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like they won't reflect so much on like, remember the Empire. I think they're going to reflect on like, remember when we had the New Republic, and then it was just so immensely crushed by just an outside force. Don't ever forget that happened, and that will make it so that future stories can look back on the sequel trilogy a little bit as its own legacy of this era that happened in Star Wars. That was not a small thing. It was a big regime change. I mean, by the time we get to Rise of Skywalker, our understanding is that the First Order has basically become the new government, and they need to overthrow it like immediately. And I know it seemed all fast. That was kind of one of the like hangups, is like with the first 2 movies taking place like back to back, you didn't really get to see that happen. But it did happen. And the First Order was a huge problem for the galaxy. And I don't see any other scenario where they don't look back at the remnants of the First Order beyond Rise of Skywalker. Absolutely.
All right. Good answer. Yeah, I think I agree with that. All right. One more here from Zach Bison at Zach_Stitch. In Kenobi, will Obi-Wan and Vader converse via the Force across the galaxy like Rey and Kylo Ren did? He wrote Ben. I'm going to say Kylo Ren. It would be cool. There's certainly precedent there, because even Palpatine and Anakin did that in Revenge of the Sith. But I don't think so, because I think it adds just another hurdle for them to try to tie up, and it might not be worth the payoff to do that, because you really get the vibe when we see Vader in A New Hope that they really have not been in contact. And if we're creating a new, smaller gap, which would be a 10-year window now as opposed to 19, knowing that, they can converse at any time through the Force is dangerous to me. And it would be a little sloppy, and then be like, why didn't they then in A New Hope? And then, because they made that movie first. Well, we know, but still story continuity, blah, blah. So I while it would be cool for that to happen, I think it's just adding a variable of messiness that we don't want to deal with, especially me being a continuity junkie. So I'm going to say hopefully not, but let me know what you think there, Zach. All right, last one real quick. This is from Brian. He's one of the hosts of the Certain Point of View pod. He asked, and that's B. Avo. How do you say your name, Brian? Avolacino? I think that is it. He said, who wins in a 30-question solo movie quiz?
If it was 2 weeks ago, I would say
me.
John. If it's today, which it is, I would say me.
Yeah, I would say me. Like, no question.
Okay.
If
We'll start it
I don't
right now.
Yeah. Who plays Han Solo?
I'm out. Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I definitely know not me, because both of you guys are in full on trivia mode mental game right now. So you guys definitely have it down. And I wouldn't be able to pull it out. So if that helps. The question really is going to be, I don't know, maybe we'll find out based on who answers questions correctly in the Schmodown. I don't know, like solo-related questions in the Schmodown.
I think Brian wants to do it. I think that's why he was saying it. But
I think maybe so. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Maybe one day. All right. That is it. Thank you all for your questions. Make sure you do submit them to us. You do that on Twitter using hashtag #AskTheResistance, or we usually put a post out, whether that be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Drop it down below, or you can email it to us. You know how to do that. So however you want to get us a question, we'll get you on the show. We appreciate it very much because it always adds new, different flavors of discussion to the show here. I sound like Guy Fieri or something. Thank you all for listening and watching and being a part of TRB. Make sure you do subscribe to the show, like Lacey said before, all your audio platforms, on the YouTube channel. Make sure you get your alerts going because we are back 2 times a week. Only took a week off, felt like a month, but here we are. We're back every Monday and Thursday. We got the Cantina coming up, so make sure you set in a reminder for this Thursday to around noonish to sign up if you want to be a part of the stream itself and be on the video with us. So it's going to be a good time, which is happening on the 25th. StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, at StarWarsNewsNet.com, and my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies, which I'll be coming back to doing soon, doing RoboCop. So a nice family film for me being a dad for the second time. James, how about you?
I'd buy that for $1. You can buy me on Twitter and Instagram at MeyerTrunks.
Nice. Lacey.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin, and you can also find me talking about WandaVision if you stayed up with me at 3 a.m. every Friday. On our sister site, Movie News Net, I chatted with Alex and Darby, who wrote a couple of the articles today that we talked about. We talked about WandaVision, how much it meant to me as a series and a superhero story, so check that out. Also, Lacey's Outpost stuff is up, so I finally did it, guys. Finally followed through.
All right. Woo! And your Schmodown this Thursday.
Oh, right? Yeah. You can find me on the Schmodown this Thursday, the 18th.
Nice.
So get ready to cheer me on as I
we'll
take
be there
on
with the big
Leader.
foam fingers going,
oh, yeah.
Go Lacey. All right. We will see you all on Thursday where we're going to revisit one of the coolest scenes in Star Wars, Jabba's Palace, and that whole segment of the movie, and have a good time chatting about that. So enjoy your weeks. We'll see you Thursday morning right here on TRB. See you around, kids.